Hey Hexo traders, it's Rod with POW Group coming at you live on Thursday, November 12th. In today's video, we're going to discuss Israel's plan to legalize recreational marijuana within the next 9 months, how that's going to benefit Hexo, and currently enjoying a Molo beverage, which is the TRUSS beverage with Molson Coors and Hexo. It's a beer without the alcohol, so it's got 5 milligrams of THC, 5 milligrams of CBD. If you're a beer drinker, you'll love it. They have tons of other drinks as well, not just beer, but you can actually check out Nova Cannabis as well. In Alberta, they have 20% off all TRUSS beverages right now until the end of the month. So you can go and pick out a couple for yourself. But again, welcome back on The Pursuit of Wealth. We'll jump into some news articles and some charting in just a moment. So stick around and we'll get right into it. Hey there, welcome back. So let's jump right into it. So I'll bring up the article now about Israel announcing to legalize recreational cannabis within 9 months. It's going to pump that baby out. But according to recommendations, marijuana will be sold to users age 21 and up. So like in Alberta, for example, it's 18. So a little surprised that they're targeting 21 there, a little steep in my opinion, but it is what it is, but not for consumption in public. There you go. So we'll have to see if they give any more details. Israel's planning to legalize cannabis for recreational use within 9 months. Okay, this is my first time really reading this with you guys, so bear with me. Just a lot of fluff. 9 months after it's approved, all the government administration time to prepare. So essentially they're allotting enough time, just like Canada did, roughly about a year within coming out with the announcement. They were given about a year to prep. And it's time to make progress and legalize cannabis in Israel. Nissan said, "This is a significant, holistic, and responsible reform which shows the state of Israel isn't ignoring reality, and it is going in the footsteps of developed countries." And it's actually they've been in touch with Canada, and they're studying their market very closely and looking to replicate that market as well, and what worked for them, right? So according to the new law being promoted, people age 21 and up will be allowed to purchase cannabis at specialized stores. They will be required to show identification. The drug will not be allowed to be taken into or out of the country. The stores will be allowed to make deliveries, but will be barred from selling cannabis edibles that resemble candy. So that's notable. The state will ensure the prices are reasonable to avoid encouraging customers to go to the black market. Of course, so that's awesome, because that was one of the problems with Canada. I think they're learning from Canada. Hexo, for example, was the first to bring the value brand, the original stash, which is fantastic. I think it's in BC right now, it's $112 taxes included for an ounce, and it's 25% THC. And I've had it, the buds phenomenal. So can't beat it. And they're obviously learning from Canada's mistakes. So they're able to look at what worked for us and what didn't work for us and use that as a blueprint, right? So it's pretty cool that, you know, we were first to figure it out basically as a nation. But I mean, there was other countries as well, but at a large scale in such a developed country, it's only going to make it easier for other countries once they decide to bring it online. So, however, the law will likely include a blanket ban on smoking cannabis in public spaces. It will not allow home growing of the plant without a license, though the team recommended, not sure what happened there. Just completely jumped and lost my, there we go. Though the team recommended that the matter be weighed at a later stage. So they look like they just want to avoid letting everybody grow it for now until they figure out if that's the best plan that they want to take. So we'll see if there's any more updates on that. Similar to cigarettes, cannabis ads will remain prohibited. So again, this is similar to Canada. We can't see things like the Molo being promoted on, through ads online, or you don't see it on the television yet. So once we're able to get that mainstream adoption and that mainstream publicity, it's really going to drive it over the edge. So the team suggested that various bodies that require security screening reconsider the current policy which disqualifies people who use cannabis. Yada, yada, yada. Opinion is to favor legalization over decriminalization, which is more common in other countries. Since decriminalization doesn't provide a solution for problems such as the black market. There you go. Knowing what you're buying and knowing that it's safe, knowing what's in it, making sure you're getting the right amount that you're buying. It's a win-win-win. So Israel has taken steps in recent years to make medical cannabis available and is poised to become a major exporter of the crop, though local medical cannabis users have complained of near impossible access to the few dispensaries licensed to distribute it. That's where Hexo comes in. So we'll talk about how that affects Hexo and how that benefits Hexo in just in a moment. But recreational use of the drug is currently illegal, though the Public Security Ministry partially decriminalized it in 2017, setting fines and treatment for initial offenders instead of criminal procedures. So they go on to talk about how to benefit people who have been, charged or convicted. In June, 2 linked bills to legalize cannabis use passed preliminary readings. 21 of age, we already knew that. Ministry vetting includes yada, yada, yada. The matter would be done via a responsible model that would be suited of the Senate of Israel, yeah. So that's pretty much all we have. So moving on. So I brought up this article from July 9th that Hexo released. Hexo launches medical cannabis products in Israel. So why did they pick Israel? Now we know, because they obviously did their due diligence. They did their market research and they looked into the political landscape and the culture in Israel and found out that this was the next new up and coming market. So very, very smart on their part. The branding on Hexo, we'll talk about that in just a second. Motley Fool, I don't really follow them that much, but they did come out with a pretty interesting article. A little bit of it's a little bit sketchy, but they raise some good points and some points that I was thinking of myself as well. But you can see that Hexo is proud to announce that they launched medical cannabis products in Israel through a 24-month agreement, and that's just the medical industry sector, right? So once we see recreational, that's going to ramp up shipment. They sent 493 kilograms on the first shipment, and that's just for the medical market. So once we get up to recreational numbers, it's going to obviously increase if that agreement extends, but we got a 24-month agreement. So 2 years is a solid amount of time. That was just in July. So we'd be looking at July 2022, and they're looking to legalize it within the next month, which would put us before that date. So hopefully the relationship maintains, sound and the relationship's still there, and they end up ramping up those purchasing orders. We also saw that Mexican senators will vote on a revised marijuana legalization bill this week as well. So you can check that article out on your own, but for the sake of time, I'm going to move on from that. But we're starting to see more and more legalization. We had US legalizing, planning to legalize under the Biden administration. We saw Kamala Harris come out and say that she would expunge and decriminalize marijuana, and then they said they would legalize it on national television. And now Mexico, Israel, it's just going to be the trend of 2021, I think, in my opinion. We saw multiple states convert over to legalization and medical. So more and more states and countries following suit. So I want to jump to this Motley Fool article. So can you really grow your money 3x with this pod stock? So obviously they bought this stock and they're trying to pump it. So let them go ahead and pump it. But all good for people who own it right now, right? But those who don't own it are like, okay, well, go and prove it to me. Prove it to me with your stock price or your numbers and your profitability and your positive EBITDA and EPS, right? So it's all, you can talk as much as you want, but you got to walk the walk as well. So I can understand how some people look at these articles and think, oh my God, this is terrible. And people look at it and, oh my God, this is the next Amazon, right? So it's pretty much one extreme to the other, but they make some good points. So pot stocks were all the rage in 2018, some 10x'd, Recent history hasn't been so exciting, blah, blah, blah. If you're a savvy investor, you know exactly the time to pay attention. Like Warren Buffett advises, you want to buy when others are fearful. Right now, pot investors are the definition of fearful. Running the numbers, there's one marijuana producer in particular that could rise 300% or more. This is your chance. There'll be many chances, but you can start buying a little now if you want. But honestly, scale in. There's many different things that you could do. Let me know in the comments below if you're looking to scale in, if you already have a position, if you're, you know, if you're looking to buy when we change the monthly uptrend, are you looking to add on a daily high or low? So there's so many different ways to scale in. You could buy a little bit every 5 pennies. You could set a buy order to buy near support. We have support at 61 cents. So there's different ways you could do it, but let's just move on from there. So at the end of the day, cannabis companies are simply growing crops. Their planting and harvesting cycle isn't too different from corn, tomatoes, yada, yada, yada. So basically they go on to say that they're going to, it's going to just replicate tomatoes, beans, rice, cabbage. It's not in another decade. There's not going to be that much profit to it. No one ever really got rich as a farmer is what they're saying. That reality could crush nearly every cannabis stock. Commoditization could be a lot closer than you think, I concluded. Within a few months of that post, the pot market fell into free fall, yada, yada, yada. I love this pot stock. How do you sell commoditized plants without seeing your profits disappear? It's simple. You turn those commodities into something special. Consider Coca-Cola. The company basically sells sugar and water. The underlying cost is a few pennies and they can sell it for $1 or more. The secret is branding. People don't want that. They want a Coke. Pot companies need to replicate that, and the best is Hexo. From the start, Hexo differentiated itself in the industry. Competitors were looking to ramp production as fast as possible. At that time, that's what the market loved, but Hexo knew strategy wouldn't succeed long-term due to effects of commoditization. Instead, Hexo spent millions of dollars to brand its pot. It didn't start from scratch. Executives reached out to existing brands to quickly launch products that consumers would already trust. For example, its partnership with Molson Coors to co-produce THC beverages, like the Molo, which is amazing. This story is just getting started. Hexo wants to replicate its Molson partnership with established brands in other categories like cosmetics, edibles, sleeping aids, and more. If you like this strategy, know that this pot stock is years ahead of the competition. Right now, Hexo is valued at $500 million. In 2018, the business was worth more than $2 billion. When sentiment shifts in the pot market, I expect this stock to lead the surge. Pretty cool. So definitely agree with the branding. Their branding is spot on. The original stash is just such a, you know, if you're a weed connoisseur, or, you know, if you've been a big advocate and it's been a big part of your life, then you know, like original stash, it just makes you think back to the nostalgic days of, you know, when you first started stashing your pot, right? So it's, they just killed everything. They absolutely destroyed the marketing. Like it's spot on. Their drinks, they have something for everyone. All of their drinks are amazing. I'm really impressed with what they've been able to do in such a short time. And like I said, they're making this plant into something special, things that the black market can't produce. These are things that you can't buy on some gray market website, right? You're not going to go on there and get a Molo. So that they realize that the big market is the people who don't already smoke cannabis. So if they can start to tap into that, get it? Tap, Molson, Coors. But anyways, so moving on. Let's take a look at the charts. I'm getting a little tired, so we'll wrap this up here fairly quickly. Let's take a look at the daily chart here. So you can see we had a daily uptrend confirm, huge move, up 80% from that daily higher low, up 90% from the low of the earnings reaction. So huge move out of nowhere, completely surprised people. And let's just take a look at the Fibonacci retracement. So we are in the midway point of the, almost to the 0.780 fib retracement. So anywhere around here would be a highly opportune buying opportunity, in my opinion. So this rectangle, blue rectangle box would be, you know, buy as much of it as you can possibly. that you're willing to risk. Obviously, don't invest more than you're willing to lose. And all investments have risks. This isn't advice, but strictly for education and just theoretical purposes, that this could be the last time that we see Hexo this low. Again, maybe it could go lower than the recent 58, who knows? But personally, in my opinion, I do think that this is the beginning of a real shift. And taking a look at the monthly, we're just looking for a monthly high or low. Let me reset this chart here. So we're just looking for a monthly high or low compared to 34 cents. And we need to get over $1.29. If we can get above $1.29, then we confirm a monthly uptrend. And we also have EMA 12 there at resistance at 119. So that's going to be important. And let's go back to the daily chart here. So we do have this daily, well, it was actually drawn on the hourly here. So I drew this support line from the low here. And you can see we have 1, 2, 3 touches, and looking to potentially see a bounce. We could also be looking at an hourly inverse head and shoulders here with the left shoulder and the right shoulder neckline around the 80-cent mark. So if we can get over 80 cents as a new resistance, that's going to confirm an inverse head and shoulders. That will also change the hourly trend in favor of the bulls. We'll be in an hourly uptrend. And once we change the hourly uptrend, then that confirms our daily high or low. And if you take a look at the retracement, we've already retraced very close back to the 0.780 fib retracement. And we're in the middle of that range. We're also in the middle of the Bollinger Bands with daily EMA 12 holding, or sorry, EMA 26 holding, and a lot of confluence in that level for support. And we also have that hourly uptrend line to be watching, an inverse head and shoulders on the hourly. This is looking really good. We had Israel news come out, so there's a reason why technical analysis works and why you can kind of anticipate this move or news to be watching out for. That's definitely standing out. We'll see how the market reacts tomorrow. Might not actually do anything. We'll see, but in my opinion, that's huge news and definitely a win for Hexo. Taking a look at the 15-minute into the end of the day. So into the end of the day, we did confirm a 15-minute downtrend. We started the day at 14 cents, sorry, 74 cents, hit a high of 80 cents, and then we just faded all day. Market was falling as well, and we did end with a 15-minute downtrend. But you can see that we're getting a lot more volume. A lot of these candles, there was barely any activity on them a few months ago. So if we just zoom out here, I probably wouldn't even have to go a few months anyway. No, I'm not going to zoom back, but take my word for it. It's definitely a lot more volume than what we were used to. See here, just not even hitting the 20-period moving average. You can see we've had huge volume, and it's got to be getting close to a record month, I would think. Yep. So we are only in the 12th of November. So we could easily set a new monthly record volume here. We're already going to beat this month here of May, and June was the highest month there. So that could have been a potential accumulation phase as well. Maybe the big boys knew something, right? Obviously, they probably knew about Israel. They probably knew about their drinks were coming out this summer. So looking for that daily high or low, and we're going to look to the hourly chart. That will tell us whether or not, once we confirm an hourly uptrend, that'll determine whether or not the daily high or low is set. And if we break to a new lower low, then we'll scout a daily high or low. We're still scouting a daily high or low compared to 61.5 cents. Anything above that is still a daily high or low. But if we do set a lower high and then confirm a downtrend, then that's going to obviously negate the uptrend. So we'll keep an eye out for a daily lower high. That's likely what we're going to get based on the size of this pullback. So see if we get that hourly trend change and daily bounce going into tomorrow. The high of today at 80.23 cents is going to be the level to break. If we open higher than that, then we'll look to break 81, and then we have no real resistance until up until $1.09, and then $1.29 after that, and then after that, nothing until about $1.53. So could be an interesting day tomorrow. Could also be a, you know, just a muted reaction. We might not see anything in the stock. Hourly Bollinger Bands are also getting tight. So we're sitting in the middle of the Bollinger Bands on the weekly, but we're getting extremely tight, and we'll keep an eye on the hourly. Most important is the hourly chart. So we'll see if we get that inverse head and shoulders confirmed tomorrow. So that concludes today's video. Hope you found the information valuable and you can take away a couple of pieces of information that can help you in your investments and your trading. I'm super excited about the future of Hexo. Let me know in the comments below if you own it, if you're looking to buy it, what your plan is, what you think the price target is going to be in the next year to 3 years. I'd love to hear from you. So make sure to like, subscribe, and tick the bell to be notified on any future updates. Welcome back again on The Pursuit of Wealth. We'll see you on the next video. Cheers.